3 to 4 factors that are pushing Perth right now into a massive growth cycle. The first factor that is pushing Perth into a growth cycle right now is inflation. So inflation, as an example, Perth, in terms of the cycle that it's been in the time frame, it hasn't grown in like 10 to 12 years that much at all. So properties are still in that, very affordable bracket. You're picking them up for 200, 300, 400,000. Inflation over the last 2 to 3 years has pushed up the cost of building properties. So it's pushed up building materials, bricks, timber, concrete, steel, all that kind of stuff. So when the cost of building a property goes up, then also it has a flow-on effect to existing properties that are already out there, especially in affordable markets. Just like inflation pushes up the price of a cheeseburger from McDonald's, used to be 10 cents 30, 40 years ago. Now it's like $5, $6 for a basic cheeseburger. The same thing happens with properties, but inflation does push that up in many cases. So inflation's one. Second thing is population growth, like Perth. If you look at the data and statistics, the population is growing over in Perth. Perth is on that western side of Australia, quicker to get to outside countries. Flights are a lot closer than maybe Sydney or Melbourne. The population is set to double by, I think it's 2050 as an example. So another 20 years, the population will literally, instead of be like 2.2 million, probably like 4.4 million. So population growth is there. Supply and demand's the third thing. There's a lack of housing. There's like 30 to 40 people trying to buy the same property, which is pushing it up. And there's a lack of housing because, again, inflation has pushed a lot of developers that build properties out of jobs, and they've gone bankrupt. You might have seen this in the news or on the media, but every week a new developer that builds housing estates or builds unit complexes or townhouse complexes is going out of business because their profit margins are very minimal to begin with. So there's less properties being built, therefore there's more people that are having babies and being born and growing up and moving out of home and so on and so forth, are looking for property, and because there's not enough being built, there's a supply and demand issue. And to me, those are the most important things. So the inflation, the supply and demand due to developers going bankrupt, and of course, just basic population growth as well.